So it's already part 33, I think. And we are in Lanedale. And I have checked the... I think we already checked the lower capital area. So next would be Fortified Manor, I think. Bro's hitting hard. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's closed from this side. Bunga style. Hey Dosan, the build is just revolves around themes that I had in mind when it comes to my interpretations, how I see the lore of Godwyn and in connection to the videos that I made. And it's basically the themes that I have in mind are like the ice, the thunder, the storm themes. Similar to how the divine beasts are portrayed in the DLC. Because I think these themes contain the pretty much symbolic for his heritage, for Godwyn's heritage, and America and Godfrey as his parents. A lot of little details that I have in mind. For example, when it comes to the Claymore, I think the Claymore was placed in some cases. I mean, the Claymore itself can just be found once in Castle Morn. It has the Lion's Claw as a default skill. And I think they chose the Lion's Claw as a default skill deliberately. Because sometimes they use weapons to coat smoldering corpses, for example. So I could go on for hours now about why I chose specific weapons or the armor set. For example, I think the Vagabond set is probably the to-go class the Vagabond class. It's not only the first class that is shown in the menu when you choose a class. It's more special than the other ones, I would say. Because it's the same set, for example, like the Knight set. The Knight set is also the one that is shown in almost all of these tooltips, for example, and that's also for a reason, I think. There are other little details like the pattern on the chest, which resembles a little bit the armor of Godfrey. And I think it's a little hint to the fact that we might be Godwyn reborn. Or resurrected or reincarnated, however you want to describe that. But yeah. What did I want now? Oh, let's go that way. So yeah, for now I got the Lion's Claw as the default skill. Yeah, I chose not to go with incantations because I had to choose between. I had to choose which primary stats I go for, and if I wanted to go for incantations, it would have been probably yeah, I mean there are some incantations, but let's see. So basically, I'm going for a quality build to add a bit of variety, and I try to implement the themes of ice and storm and thunder through the Ash of Wars. So I also chose those Warhawk talents, and I got the lightning slash or lightning strike on it, and also the Hoarfrost Storm to add these. But I'm thinking about other Ash of War as well. It's more I just try to include the themes that I had in mind, not just a specific good working build, you know. I might I'll do the lightning strike on the claymore. Not sure yet. Might change a little bit later on. Already there. But the DLC offers some stronger versions of the Lion's Claw and the Hoarfrost Stomp as well. Quite nice, because I will upgrade my current Ashes of Wars probably with those. Okay, let's see. Oh, this one was interesting, I think. What, the 3 strings or so? Oh. But it's, first and foremost, it's just to complement my theory or interpretations that I was working on. Godwyn was a sword or user or axe. I actually like the thought of him being a sword user. If he was one, I don't know. I think it gives him a little bit more character than just Godfrey's son if he was a sword user. But, I mean, it's nowhere written what kind of weapons he chose. I think it's also something that they left open. But I like the idea of a greatsword because it's a classic weapon, I think. And in regard to Night Rain, for example, where when it comes to Night Rain, I think the champions were all designed and inspired by the main characters in the base game, and the Wilder was probably, or as I interpret the Wilder, he was or is a Godwyn parallel. And therefore, I thought, okay, From Software would maybe go with a greatsword. Because that's what they chose for the Wilder. Although they also mentioned in the greatsword of the Wilder that he would choose any weapon that's handy. Probably because in the end we choose our own weapon. Like everyone plays the weapon he wants to. We as the player, I mean. And yeah. The run here, or the playthrough that I'm currently doing, is more or less just another lore run that I yeah, some kind of playthrough that I was doing several times now. But every time I do another one, there are other details that becomes recognizable. It's just that this time thought, okay, but would be nice to stream and to discuss some details with our viewers. Oh. Eight poison bone darts. Strings. But my commentary would probably makes only sense for those who watch my videos and are familiar with them. Most of it probably sounds like ramblings of a madman. Yeah. But, Just curious, Dosen, if you're still there, have you watched... You probably not watched my videos yet, I think. Right? Gravelstone. Gravelstone. Hmm. Hefty bean boast. Beast bone. Jesus. Golden moon egg. Oh, come on, I don't want to go around. Okay, whatever. Neue Blattcloud. Nice. The thing is, it feels more like a project that I could continue for years. I have so many ideas. It's just too much. I think the game's depth is even the amount of depth of this game is extremely underestimated, I think. And my theory is not yet complete, that's the problem. I think a lot of people are still not fully convinced. I mean, I can fully understand that, but with everything that I will release over the next years probably, it should convince more and more and more. It's just so hard to make it accessible and understandable. At least that's my perspective. And that's probably problematic because a lot of stuff are not. There's nothing with you can literally prove a theory. We don't have things like that. It's more like things are getting just too recognizable, and things are just yeah, there will be coincidences that will be just too good to not be coincidences. 6 poison bone darts. Well, the other thing is that I'm still working on most of the stuff. That's the other thing. In the sense that I still have to figure out a lot of for myself. But from time to time, I just explore more and more and more. I mean, discover more and more and more. And that's why I just keep on. An interesting detail, for example, is that those with the omens with horns can cast wraiths or this golden flame. And those without horns can't do that. Oh, fuck. I definitely favor the Age of the Stars ending. I just can't parry him. Yeah, and of course they got the Beast Crest Heater Shield. life. It's because I think the Age of the Stars ending is the favorite ending of America and Ronnie. But it should be clear watching the videos probably that I'm favoring this ending. I even believe that they gave a specific numbers and meaning sometimes, and when they place items in a specific amount, there is some special additional meaning with them. America's end goal was to destroy the Elden Ring, I would say, and in that way also the influence of the Greater Will. But as she's intertwined with it, it's in some way also her own death, of course. Well, when it comes to the DLC, I have to say, I have a more controversial perspective, probably, because I don't think the DLC should be taken that literally. It's because I think that it's more some kind of dream world of America, what happens in the DLC, and it not happened literally like that. But it's I think more symbolic for past events of the lands between. It has to do with how I think they created the game's content in general. Okay, so we got 2 items here. Godwyn Run 11. Segment chat. Oopsie. I haven't seen the little one. Yikes. Why are there so many? Lost Ashes of War? Yeah. So the following two items are really interesting because, whoop. I think these should be glass shards. What's the rainbow stone arrow fledged? This is one of the rarest items in the whole game. Not the glass shard though. It's the one over there. So these arrows can only be found once in the entire game, and only here on this corpse. The rainbow stone arrow fledged. Can't be crafted too. So, but I am wondering. Lol. I've never seen them clipping through the walls. Not sure what's under here. I hate these things. Hey, Andrew. Arrows, a few weeks ago, I realized that there might be a meaning to them, especially because there's a metaphor in one of the dialogues of Vare. Vare is using a arrow metaphor, and I think maybe it's so our whole journey is compared to the flight of an arrow, which is so Vare is asking us if we are, I don't know the exact words, but it's something about following our path to become Elden Lord or so, and he's asking us if we are flying straight and true. And I realized that it's all about so when it comes to our story, at least, it's the first words that we hear, become Elden Lord, sends out on our mission. And this is in the metaphor, in the comparison, this is like the shooting arrow. So we are sent straight to become Elden Lord. And in that way we are flying straight and true, following our path, our mission. And becoming Elden Lord is like the goal. So, but we are just the arrow in that metaphor, and not the one who is sending us on our mission. But usually it seems like that Radagon, who seems to had a similar story in his past, is in most cases I think it's about Radagon actually, who in a similar way probably was sent out to on a mission. And it might also be that when it comes to arrows and someone who's flying straight and true, that it's more of a long journey where it is about. So or it could also be sometimes, I'm not fully convinced yet, I don't know, but it could also be sometimes that arrows maybe have a meaning of aiming at something in it, a symbolic meaning of aiming at something, maybe. Yeah. But especially the fact that I realized that Iron Eye is probably a Radagon parallel. My eyes, I'm fully convinced of that one. The Iron Eye is a Radagon parallel. Seems like the whole bow and arrow items are more often related to him. Yeah, the hand ballista as well, for example. But I don't know if that counts for every bolt or bow and arrow, etc. I wouldn't conclude that one. It's like with axes, for example. I don't think that every axe is linked to Godfrey. But it's an idea that I also had at some point. I was thinking, okay, what if maybe every axe is somehow related to Godfrey and contains allusions or references, but I became skeptical and wasn't as convinced of this idea. Thinking more about it. Yeah, Polybo was made by him, no? Yeah, it's of course not really answered, but I think it might relate to Radagon as well, yeah. What do you mean by FromSoft expect us to think that way? Where do I have to go? For fuck's... Decode, not decide, yeah. When trying to decide, to think if we figure something out applies all the time. I still don't quite get what you mean. But it might be the language barrier. I'm sorry, Andrew. Sometimes I'm just not sure if, like, it could also be that it's obviously a work that was done by a whole team, and maybe it's just that things doesn't have to work every time, but in specific cases maybe, where it's how do I... It's hard to compare. I just think it might... Sometimes it just might be not perfect, you know? Leave X... Ah, okay, I know what you mean. Yeah, it could be that, how you described it, or it's just it would be also too limiting in a way, you know? It would also have been very limiting to link every X to Godfrey. I think it might be the case for a lot of X's, but doesn't have to be for every X. And there lies, and sometimes there lies beauty in something that is not perfect. You know, I think it's even some perspective of Asian. Fuck my life. Why does this thing hit so hard? I mean, it's a little bit like art, like painting. Not every line has to be perfect. It has to be, as a whole, just good looking or fit in a way, you know? I don't know how to describe that. Oh wait, I want... If you pack heal. Oh yeah, sure, you're right. Okay, another try. Usually I don't have that many problems with these things. Just a matter of concentration, usually. Okay, my bad. This time I'll get him. Can't be that difficult. Okay. I have to chill. I have the feeling that he's way faster than the usual ones. Fucking hell! I swear these things are more awful than most of the other enemies. Godfrey becoming Elden Lord. I don't know if he would end up the same way we would do, because it would depend on whether or not he would be able to defeat Radagon and the Elden Beast. Okay, come on. He's so fucking fast. I don't get it. I swear. This one was dropping a sacrificial twig. I wonder if they usually drop sacrificial twigs, but because... Well, let me check this one. I wanna see if they usually drop sacrificial twigs. Okay, yeah. Five Grey Violets. Probably some kind of America reference. In the cage next to it, there was a stone sword key. I'm still not sure. The stone sword key is either related to Radigan or to Godfrey. I just can't. Just don't know. Approved direct lever. Let's make the Onga Bonga. Samath missing stone 8. Another one? Can you give me a pause, for fuck's sake? Why are there 3 of them? Usually, I thought there would be just 2. I get punished a lot today. I have the strange suspicion that the omens down here are somehow related to Godfrey's clan. They are also using 2-headed axes. They do not wear any anything that is much decorated. Similar to how the Badland Warriors did it. And they even attack a little bit like Godfrey, I think. The grab, for example. Yeah, please die. Oh shit. Yeah, and sure, Morg as well, but it's not doing much more damage. Oh shit. That grab attack looks a lot like the one from Godfrey, Horror Lou. I mean... So, okay, first one down. Are there 2 of them still? No. Thing is, It's not fleshed out. I don't know if it fits in the end, but I have the idea that maybe some of these omen might even relate to an to the distant Farum era. Because I have the idea that the Badlands and Godfrey's clan is actually related to the Farum era in the distant past, and they might get later reborn in a way. They even have the same like decoration, but a lot of NPCs have this one. It just seems like there is some kind of not direct link, but the quest line of the Dung Eater is a lot about seedbed curse, etc. And right above this area, we get a whole area where people got slain. It just can't make any sense of it, but in the Dung Eater's quest line, he says that those that he was what is it called? What is he doing? The weird stuff that he's doing with those corpses and other peoples. He later says that when they got reborn, they will be cursed and their children as well, defiling, yeah. So maybe there have been like those warriors or clan members of Godfrey in the distant past that got slain or and then defiled afterwards, and those we see here might be those who later got reborn. That's what I think, you know. So they were all already slain once and defiled, but were later reborn for some reason. And it's interesting because the axes that they're using say that they are warped, which looks like they were warped by heat or fire. So they were probably attacked by fire or so. And the other thing that even might relate them to dragons is the sword that they're using, the Omen curved sword, because the moveset that it has is using a specific heavy attack that is heavily associated with malformed dragons for some reason. I don't know why this attack animation is on the Omen curved sword. It's really strange. That is something I just realized a few days ago, because it also connects with Anastasia and the butchering knife. Maybe you remember how I said that Radagon was the one who poisoned the Tarnished and were slaying them with the powers of a dragon. It's interestingly, it was already in coded in Anastasia, because Anastasia is Anastasia Butchering's knife has heavy attack, and the same heavy attack that is also on the Magma Worm's curved sword, which is deliberately emphasized and described in the skill, which says that this heavy attack animation is reminiscent of an attack of a dragon. What do you mean? In which way is Godfrey probably connected to Dragon Slaying? I mean, there is definitely something that links Godfrey to Farmazula because of his ex, which is using Farmazula aesthetics. Those patterns that the ex got on it. Yeah, organizing data is so much work. But it helps a lot. Because it's just, this game has just too many details in it. You can't keep anything in your head. And that's one of the biggest problems, I think. And it's just the first problem. Afterwards, you have to sort them and make sense of them. And that's all so extremely time consuming, but makes a lot of fun as well, I have to say. At least for me. Yeah, recognizing patterns seem to be your thing, I would say. At least I have the feeling that we, that you understand what I tell sometimes. That's something that I don't, yeah. I don't know if people sometimes understand my point of view, but I'm just happy to see that you and me have a similar perspective on things. It's a lot of work because you have continuously try to interpret and think again and think again and think again. What do you think of smithing stones? Oh my god, today's not my day. Godwyn Run. I think I just leave them there. I don't know. Have I missed anything, by the way? The problem with smithing stones is just that they are, of course, they of course appear in several places. Where's the... There it is. Because smithing stones appear so often, it might be difficult to say if there's any meaning to those. But of course there is sometimes. It's just, I think it's difficult because of that. Oh no. So I think this one was a ice-coated item. Yeah, freezing grease. I don't know why, but it seems to be, maybe it's some kind of America reference. Just can't tell why. It connects to the items above, I think. There's some poison-related items as well. Serpent arrow 10 times. No! Why is this thing here? Am I underleveled for this area? Yeah, by the way, this is one of two places where these long tongue impads appear. Fire grease. Nah, no. No. What the fuck? They're doing so much damage. Why? Could it be that the sewers are for a higher thought for a higher level than they usually are in Leyndell? But no, it should be high enough. Yeah, Acer Dawn. I think that might fit. I think, especially the long-tongued demon, I think might refer to Radagon. Long-tongued in the sense of being deceitful, telling lies and so on. Although the imp-hatchet, or the forked tongue hatchet, or what it's called, carries the meaning of someone lying anyway. Okay, we have to work through this differently. Where are... So let's use this one. Can you please fall down? The tongs in DLC? Black Knights? What is connecting the Black Knights and tongs? And where do tongs appear in the DLC? Tong, do I pronounce that correctly? Oh, there is the frog tongue or so. Yeah. Fuck you. And you too. What the fucking hell? Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed, guys. I haven't played like this for a long time. Let's go for another try. Okay, let's play it safe now. Come here. The freezing grease and the serpent arrows are so weird placed here in this area. I really like this one. It's the incantation for Shadow Bait. And it leaves a gold pale shadow behind. I think it might be referring to that this is Marika, represented by the golden shade, by the golden shadow of the grace. A pale gold shadow before the caster. Yeah, it's like the guidance, or maybe not the guidance, like the rays of the guidance, but like the golden little shadow on the sides of grace. Okay, now we have to go into the worst area. It's pretty funny because I think maybe they even placed them deliberately here because it's thematically these are like crayfish with some kind of tail fin under the capital. You know, it kind of fits with Godwyn. I don't know, it's a weird comparison, but it's interestingly that the themes kind of fit, you know? Like creatures with a tail fin under the capital. Oh my god, what kind of aggro range does he have? Is he stuck? What the fuck? Uh-oh. He's not. He's just too big. I think lobsters are just, first and foremost, they're just lobsters, but I think sometimes they are placed to refer to circumstances regarding Godwyn. For example, in my videos, I described like that Bogart, for example. Bogart is someone who can be considered a Godwyn parallel because he contains a lot of references to Godwyn and his story. And interestingly, right next to him, for example, are four lobsters or 4 crayfish placed, and one of them is even a lobster, a crayfish that is actually a mimic tier and turns into a grafted scion. So just from the perspective of themes, when you just look at themes, it's interesting that even these really fit really well into the whole Godwyn theme that might be going on here. Because a mimic tier that is first mimicking a crayfish and then turning into a grafted scion, you got a creature with a tail fin, and then you got a creature that's associated with the golden lineage. So I think they deliberately chose these two NPCs for the mimic tier in this place there, just as a little illusion on these relations between those, maybe. Oh fuck, why is there so many imps there? Fuck it. Yeah, I should grab the grace next. Around the corner. Did you know that there are some of the crayfish that are that have a parasite on them? There's oh, for fuck's sake! Zully has a really interesting video about these because some of these have some kind of worm parasite in them. These are details that you would never notice. It's so strange. And there seems also to be one of them in Leonia which has red eyes, I think. I can't say which one actually have a parasite in them though. And some of them have eggs as well. So there should be 3 models probably. Yes, some of these enemies are definitely harder than bosses, yeah. I would say these lobsters are harder than Godric, for example. Oh, 5 glass shards. Oh. Come here, bro. Two smithing stone, 7. Those of you here was also a smithing stone 7, right? What else did I pick up here? 5 glass shards, 2 smithing stone 7 over there, 1 simba smithing stone 7 in the tunnel. Wasn't there something over here as well? No. This seems to be some kind of allusion to America. Although, I'm interested in what kind of spirits is she summoning here? Oh, okay. The list of symbolism with numbers is so helpful. By the way, you're right. Without cataloging data, it's impossible to keep it all in your head. Yeah. But it was just there's so much more. But it just we have to work with assumptions. I'm just assuming meanings, for example, but I don't know if they are 100% correct. It's just. We have to like look in every location and try to figure a meaning out, but we have to assume one meaning for the start, you know, and then maybe we might be able to correct ourselves from time to time. For example, when it comes to the glass shards, I'm for now I'm convinced that they might refer to tarnished. Glass shard covered in dirt. Especially because of the meaning of covered in dirt. I think it's probably about tarnished. And I'm still not sure if the nascent butterfly is actually referring to Mikela, because it appears in so many other situations where I think it might be about something else, but what the hell, I don't know. But my latest realization was that the number 8, I'm pretty sure of it. The number 8 is probably a reference to a confrontation between Radagon and Godfrey. So one of the so when it comes to numbers and that they might have a meaning, the situation which convinced me the most is actually the number 14. Because the number 14 is so incredibly rare, because it appears only in 2 places. And because of that, I was kind of convinced. Okay, this is not a coincidence. It has to be deliberately designed like that. Because I don't know if you remember where the number 14 appears. Do you remember? Because I think in the case of the number 14, it becomes quite obvious what it stands for. Because it appears only in 2 locations. Hey, Zed. So I'm not there in my run, in my playthrough right now, but and you're noticing this because they have there is no motivation behind why they had to mention a number like 14 in this dialogue. When it comes to the jellyfish sisters, one of them is saying that when they were 14, they were promising to see the stars. That's what they are saying. But the number 14 sounds so odd to be mentioned in dialogue like that. Why 14? And couldn't they just let them say that when they were younger, they were promising them to see the stars? Each other to see the stars? Why does it have to be the number 14, the age of 14? It makes no sense to me why they deliberately wrote the dialogue like that, you know? And then I started to notice, okay, what the fuck? What if it's not about the literal age of 14, but about the number 14? And then I checked if there are any items placed 14 times. And there are actually 2 items placed 14 times and in the same area too. And these 2 items that are 14 times placed are Farm Azula. Oh, 2 times 7 makes 14. Oh, that's another rabbit hole. Oh, Jesus. I don't know if that's something I... They won't mean I have to check everything again. Toxic mushrooms? Yeah. More work. So, wait, I want to check something. I don't know if they are... I'm wondering right now if they are always dropping toxic mushrooms. Putrid corpses... Yeah, not every putrid corpse is dropping these. They're different kind of putrid corpses. Okay, so that's interesting. The report, yeah, I don't know, man. By the way, when looking at items that reference the children of the demigods, like the nascent butterflies, is that they could also reference the parent out of the stars. Could be referencing young maidens. Yeah, like a reference to a young maiden. That was something that I was thinking about lately. I don't know if it works, but it's something that I was thinking the last few days too. I don't know. It might be. Maybe it's not just about Mikola because he's associated with eternal youth. It could also be like maybe it's about the reference to young maidens as well. I was even thinking about maybe it's also maybe nascent butterflies could also be reference to some kind of spirit because they are translucent. Could also be reference to some kind of spirit. I don't know. Omens and Redagon? Yeah, I think so too, but yeah, the young maiden prayer pose is interesting. Okay, I have the suspicion right now. This catacomb also is about this slaughter of the tarnished. Because I already know what we have at the end of this one. So we got the poisons theme. Really, we got the poison theme because of those poisoned putrid corpses. Because they drop toxic mushrooms. I haven't noticed that before, actually. And we also later meet burning corpses as well. And we even end up with a blood-themed boss and... Was it here? Oh no, it was somewhere else. Oh, never mind. Okay, forget what I said. Ghost Globe, what 6? So here are the burning corpses. I think Mikola is probably paralleling Marika in some way. But I don't know about his ascension, actually. Oh, come on. Woman in the black hood. Crucible scale talisman. It's interesting because the other crucible, the crucible feather talisman, for example, is found in front of another woman statue. Yeah, and this is one of the catacombs with a huge statue of these. What's really interesting is later on we even have a window in front of it. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's one of the gaslighting dungeons. Exactly. It's actually pointing directly towards the Urge Tree. It should be directly pointing towards the Urge Tree. A friend of mine, I don't know if you guys know him, Way of Colors. Way of Colors pointed that out for me. That the big statues, there are two of them, and this one is pointing directly towards the Earth Tree. Pointed that out for me, so didn't not noticed. This way? It's the Lanedale Catacombs. And I think there are also 3 layers of this dungeon. It's so incredibly confusing because sometimes I thought there would be just 2 layers of these dungeons, and then you realize there are 3 of them. For example, this door is not the actual boss door. It's one with the omen at the end. It's incredibly confusing. Oh, fuck my life. Where are the 2? They don't fit through the door, right? Okay. I'm sorry guys, I have to cheese a little bit right now. I don't have any flasks. I'm fucked. Oh fuck. The Harlech Drake Talisman. I think the Harlech Drake Talisman was their I think they placed the Harlech Drake Talisman when they try to refer to America. And in that location it kinda it fits the theme because it is with a spirit tuning snail. So Harlech Drake Talisman as a reference to America together with a spirit tuning snail. It fits theme wise, I think. And but I came to this conclusion because I looked at the locations of the Harlech Drake Talisman, and one of them is actually in the. So the first one is directly behind us when we are in the stranded graveyard, and it has a rapier on it, and this made me believe that it might be a reference to Marika's influence. And it fits together with the one that we just found. That is because it is with a spirit tuning snail. Godwyn Run 11. Yeah, in German it would be heilig. I think it's probably deriving from some Germanic word, probably. Oh. So, where do we have to go? Yeah, this is a dead end, but an item. Root raisin 4 times. I don't know, but I think the Orisa side tomb has also 3 layers. But sometimes I'm just confused. So we are right now we are on the second level, in the second layer, I mean. And we got now 2 ways to continue, because for one we could go this way or this way. Yeah, and this one is gaslighted because of the omen over there, which looks like that he's looking at the corpse that you just killed. But there's the open window. Wait, now I'm confused. Wait, what's it? This should have been. No, this is not. This is not the way to the window, isn't it? God damn it! Now I'm confused. Okay, so we have to go to the 3rd layer, I think, to get to the window. So to get to the window, I think we have to get to the 3rd layer. Oh. Okay. Oh, this one is closed now. Yeah, more putrid corpses. So here's the window. And this is layer 2 where we just been. Oh, rainbow stones, yeah. That's true. That's it. That's an incredibly odd one, because this is a corpse without an item. And I think whenever we face a corpse sitting in the crossed leg pose, we are actually supposed to think about the situation and the environment. And I think even windows have some kind of symbolic meaning. I think it's because it looks like she's looking at us in a way. It's like a painting frame. No, that wasn't the gesture that I wanted to make. It looks even a little bit scary, to be honest. Yeah, but a corpse without an item, pretty weird. We're definitely supposed to think about her. She's staring at the earth tree. I think we are heading back to the first layer. To Sacramental Bud. I think the Sacramental Bud could be referred to the tree roots as well. Probably. We got the themes of poison, of fire, tree roots, and now even sacramental buds. We got poison corpses, burning corpses. Root raisin, sacramental bud. And here we have two bloody hounds and Aska, priest of blood. And that's... I hate these dogs. I have no flasks anymore. haven't seen this one coming. Ah. What does the name Esgar mean? Do you guys know this? Esgar. Is it supposed to be similar to Edgar? Probably not. God's Spear. Oh, that would be a good one. Then it's definitely a good Radagon reference. Lord of Blood's exaltation. Render up your offerings of blood to your lord. Drench my consort's chamber. Slake his cocoon's thirst. Awakening short hair at the dawn of our dynasty. So it seems to be... yeah. I think the whole catacomb revolves also around the whole slaughter of the tarnished and them being placed at the Earth Tree's roots, probably. That's what I think. We got poisoned and burning corpses. We found root raisin and sacramental bud. And the Lord of Blood's exaltation, where it's about offering blood. Yeah, Radagon has a lot of spear stuff going on. But actually, I realized that Radagon is not the only one. There are some cases where even Godfrey has some spear theme going on, but only a few. Most of the time, it's about Radagon. And I think it's about I think the spear is symbolic for a counter attack. So some kind of reaction. I think because of the spear talisman. Where is it? Here. Spears are standard weapons for soldiers in the lands between. They made it possible to respond to a ferocious foe with an equally ferocious counterattack. So when it comes to spears, I'm definitely agree that Radagon is heavily spear coded. So most of the time it seems to relate to Radagon. But there are some minor cases where it is about Godfrey as well. Because of a counterattack from the perspective of Godfrey. But most of the time I would say it is there are so many cases where it connects to Radagon. It's not just Mesmer, for example. Roger as a Radagon parallel. Roger, the name Roger means also the one who's carrying a spear. Then we got Vaik, which I think is also a Radagon parallel. Patches, in my opinion, also a Radagon parallel, also using a spear. But when it comes to Godfrey, it seems to be the case that it's combined with an axe. When it comes to the Guardian, for example, the Guardian has a weapon that works like a halberd, but has the end of a spear. I think it's a reference to Godfrey with a broken axe, which is about to organize the siege on Leyndell as a counterattack, as a response to his banishment and slaughter of the Tarnished. And it's interesting that the Vagabond class I chose, because of references to Godfrey, also has a weapon that resembles an axe, but also a spear. So we are just continuing Godfrey's rebellion in a way. Where is it? There are some, and there is the there's also another one. I think there are two weapons. So for one, I said a lot of times that I think the Vagabond class contains some hidden references to us being Godwyn and Godfrey's son. Wait a second, where is it? It's the halberd, actually. And I think they are using. I think they did the same thing with the Guardian and Night Rain, because this is a halberd which is described as having the functions of both an axe and a spear. And I think it's in the case of the Vagabond class, which contains also a similar pattern like Godfrey on his armor. I think it's just a little nod to that we continue the rebellion that Godfrey started together with Marika. An axe with a spear, like the Godfrey coded weapon, but in combination with some kind of counterattack as a response. It might even be the case with the Banished Knight's halberd and Edgar. It would also fit in this case, right? Although it's nowhere mentioned that it has a spear. But it definitely looks like one. Yeah, but the Guardian also in the Guardian it's more direct stated that it has also I think let me look that up. I was pretty sure that the Guardian's weapon also mentioning the function of a spear. Where is it? Guardian Night Rain. Guardian's halberd. Oh no. It does not have... Okay, it's nowhere mentioned in the Guardian's halberd. I misremembered that one. But it also has some kind of spear at the end. You can see it in the icon. I mean... It's as obvious as in the Banished Knight's halberd. And even share a similar design. share some small design. Yeah, it's like it's. I think the problem is that it's a lot about Godfrey versus Radigan, but Radigan is doing a much bigger response to Godfrey, because everything that happens, I think, from about around the Earth tree is like a response to Godfrey actually. The X-Spear thing I never got. It's actually the starter weapon of the Vagabond class. It's really strange because you start with 2 weapons. Usually the first weapon that you have as the Vagabond is the longsword, but you have a second item in your inventory and in your equipment. It's the halberd. I don't even know if it resembles the moveset of Godfrey. It would be interesting to look into that. Where is it? This one. Is the moveset a little bit similar to Godfrey's? I mean, this one? I have to look into that at some point. Because I think it was deliberately chosen for the Vagabond class for some reason. Maybe just because it contains the functions of an axe and a spear. So, although Aska is definitely a Radigan reference, together with a Bloody Hounds, he had actually a Marika reference on him as well, and it was the Great Hood that he was wearing. That one was a Marika Rena reference actually. The Great Hood is... I think the Great Hood was the reward for the Sorcerer painting. Pretty close match, right? Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think he turns around in a similar way. Would be interesting if other halberds are doing the same thing or so. Okay. Langdale Knight. Wait. Was I here already? Was this just a smithing stone here? I think so. Ah, yikes. Oh, the sewers are so huge. Okay, but it's interesting and really nice just not to rethink about to think about this, and I think we can definitely agree the Lane Catacombs also are themed around the slaughter of the Tarnished, probably. Poison, fire, roots, blood, Radigan reference, Samerica reference. Yeah, the labyrinth theme maybe fitting to the hooded woman statue because yeah, things being a mystery, etc. Oh shit, we have to wait. How do I get on top of that? I forgot. Shit. Wasn't there a way down? I was pretty sure there was a way down. Now I'm absolutely confused. I was pretty sure. Oh. I think I messed up. Could it be? Wait. I think we have to go through this way. This way. Patches is a really nice character. I think Patches is because I think Patches is a Radigan parallel, but what makes Patches so interesting is that he's using so many idioms. One of the first idioms he's using, I think, is that we are supposed to feel the god's vengeance. Now I'm even more confused. What the hell? I don't know why I struggle so much today with this area. I forgot how I got there. to the top. So strange. I have to miss something. There are some other there is area behind the one I was already. Okay, let's think this through again. Where's this leading me to? Oh, no, not this way. Oh, wait. Was there? Oh. No, this was just fireproof grade level. No, I haven't missed anything here. In the pipe room where the second woman drops down. I think it was this one. Yeah, I know what room you mean. This one is what I'm looking for right now. Which leads me to the shortcut where I can open this one. I don't know why I'm so struggling with this right now. It should be down here then. No, I fucked up again. Huh? Yeah, I think I have to go to the... You were right. Wait. Let me teleport. I can't teleport. Come on, guys. Let me teleport. So it's not this one, right? Okay, then we have to go down to the catacomb probably again. Maybe I was there already. I think I know where to go. I just need a short break, guys. Be right back. Sorry for the wait. The middle pipe up that goes diagonally upward. You sure? You know, my first playthrough, I was so annoyed of these levels over there. Because I always checked these ones, but there was never anything interesting in them. These one. They're probably just purely for aesthetics there. Oh, it's the same ending. Okay, you think I have to go this way, right? Oh, fuck these guys. I don't want to. I'm so fucking confused. I knew that area so well, but today I'm kinda... Maybe I'm just exhausted. Or do I have to go to the... Maybe I have to go through the, towards Morgue. Could it be? Do I have to go this way to get there? It's interesting. I think grace mimics often signalize or symbolize a dead end or something that leads to death in a way. Because because this is a dead end. There are some others. So, yeah, the vengeance thing. I think the biggest problem why it's also confusing is because the story is so incredibly huge of Radek and Godfrey and the others, and it's so long. So I think It's not fleshed out yet, but it seems like there has been a kind of war in the Farum era, and it could even be that I think that history is repeating itself in a way, and I think Renna and Godfrey have already been once rebelling against the Greater Will, just in the Farum era. And the Tarnished were actually tarnished before this one as well. It gets a little bit confusing, but I think Renna and Godfrey, they rebelled against the Greater Will in the Farum era already, but they kind of lost and died. And Radagon was the only one surviving. And it all mirrors our journey, because everything that happens through in our story already happened once in a similar way, not exactly like this, but in a similar way with Radagon. Renna and Godfrey already rebelled once against the Greater Will in the Farum era. Radagon was the only one, or maybe the one, who then fought in Farum and actually killed the Elden Beast. And the thing is, in the end, Radagon is taking in the Elden Ring and joins the Greater Will. That's the problem there. And because Godfrey and the Tarnished were already rebelling in the Farum era, but they were all grafted to the Elden Ring and resurrected later, they are kind of slain as some kind of punishment once again. Because they are just used to gather souls and grace afterwards. So, I don't know if that makes sense. So the banishment and the slaughter of the Tarnished later on is more of a response of Radagon, because he was some cast out from Godfrey's clan. I don't know, it's so confusing. I think it's the same thing that goes on with Mesmer's flame, for example. Those stripped of the grace of gold shall all meet Mesmer's flame. And I think there's even the parallel of... I think it even applies to a specific spirit ash. It's this one, Engval. No, it's Oleg. Where's Oleg? It's the other one. The banished knight who joins the Grace-given Lord again, and then is slaughtering a lot of traitors. I think this one is about Radagon. It's a bit confusing, I think. The other one was right above us, right? The Grace Mimic was right above us. I think the Grace Mimic is like something that leads to death. And the string is probably as a reference to... But those led to death are then afterwards bound. They're not completely dead. Warming Stone, some Grace reference. So regarding patches, I just think that they gave him the idiom of God's vengeance in his dialogue, because Radagon is kind of yeah, is slaughtering for the Elden Ring in a way, you know, for the greater will. It kind of fits that he, as the Lil Hound, is slaying those who are against the greater will. And patches as a Radagon parallel, and with this idiom, it's really well. So putrid corpse facing into Miranda Sprout. So Grace Mimic, people led to death. String, them being bound to the Earth Tree Elden Ring probably. A Warming Stone, maybe some kind of Grace reference. But what's really interesting is the following. Here are more references. The number 8 appears here once again. The 2 fire grease. There should be 8 poison stones. Yeah, 8 poison stones. Probably as a reference to Radagon using poison against Godfrey. Some death theme. That was so fun. Okay, additionally we got 8 poison stones, and I think the number 8 is linked to Godfrey versus Radagon. But the most interesting stuff here is this one. It's the Nomad Ashes. And I think all of these Nomads are paralleling the what happened to the Tarnished, actually. It's a bigger parallel, because I realized that everything regarding chaos is paralleling order. And in the same way, the Nomads were buried underground, the Tarnished were also buried underground. A member of a tribe that was entombed in the earth so as to bury the maddening disease that followed them. And in the parallel would be the Tarnished with the grace they have buried in the catacombs to the Earth Tree's roots. Unable to take much in the way of punishment, similar how to the Tarnished were poisoned. Yeah, God of Vengeance. Yeah, you're right. I've seen some cut content regarding this. I think it was Jaren. They had this cut questline with Jaren in mind, I think. Interestingly, in the questline of the God of Vengeance, Jaren says something like, that I don't know the exact words, but something about the people often not really die, or or that people often live longer than they should, and therefore there are always people who want to or have a desire for vengeance. Or Gilbert, yeah, but it was the Jaren model. Miranda powder one. Miranda powder. Oh, it was just in Miranda Sprouts, I think. Rot. Well. Poison and rot. Oh shit. Oh yeah, this is how we get to this place. Hmm. It's the right way. So we got the Omen Baron. That's the most interesting thing in this room is this item here. There should be I think this is, yeah, 3 glass shard. Doubled white cured meat. A 4th glass shard. But this one is a golden centipede. Two golden centipedes on a little gravestone. Three times poison stone. Okay, the 3 poison stone fits together with the 10 serpent arrows that we found over there. In a way. Okay. I hate this one. 10 gold. So this one is the right way. Actually, we have to follow the red, but I want to check the other side first. Let's check this one first. I think this is the Eye of Yellow. Yeah. A warming stone. It's a pretty odd place for those commoners, actually. I think stone 8. Fuck, where did I came from? Four smithing stone 7s, by the way. I don't know if they placed 4 smithing stones just as a little reference to this exit here. To be lucky to find an exit. Although... yeah, no. Yeah, the Eye of Yellow was odd. I agree. It's just that I don't understand what it might refer to. I think the plant itself that looks a lot looks red. I think it sometimes it refers to Radigan. Because chaos in general refers to everything that revolves around order. That's a huge one. I just realized that this one is doing a different gesture. It's holding his hands like this, and it's positioned so in the middle of it all. You see that? Isn't that the gesture that is Alexander usually doing? Or like the big jar, yeah, like the great jar, like the great jar. It's just I've never realized that. Oh, I have to check every jar now again. To look into which jars are doing this gesture. Because these aren't doing that one. Report at the end of next week. Yeah, I mean you can help me if you want to, Andrew. I just think that it could be there is a case where I think the great jar and the little jar is a reference to Godfrey and Godwyn. It is the case when it comes to Alexander and Jarban, but it's also the case in one of the catacombs actually. Because it's one of the catacombs with two chairs, where there seems to be a reference to Marika, Godfrey, and Godwyn, by references through jars. Because I think jars in general are paralleling the tarnished also. Maybe it's nothing. If a lot of jars are doing this gesture, then there's might be not too much to them. One smithing stone 6. It's an odd place. Oh, the soundtrack is good. So delayed. The flame explosion. Oh, God. Maybe I should try to parry him. Parry's not working? Yeah, okay. I had the same feeling right now. Just by the one try. Okay, let's go without it. Stamina management. Ah. Bro, what? This will be the last boss for today. I can tell. What was that? The PB! Bro! It's insane how the KI works, because they always get more aggressive the lower their HP is. Okay. Blood Flame Talons. Yes! We did it! Iced him. Yeah. It's kind of a safe move. Is this all of the blood flame stuff that he's doing? All of the bloodstains here? Jesus. Fake news. It's interesting because yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on here, because these catacombs contain a more detailed design when it comes to those corpses and tree roots, because it's a huge boss room with a lot of those corpses even hanging from above. This is something that you usually don't see in the catacombs. But there's one another where it's also designed like this, and it's the Fringe Folk Hero's Grave, where you actually start your journey. In that catacomb, you also have a more detailed version of those roots with corpses in it. So it's not only the one over here, it's the other one. It's the only one another. It's only the Fringe Folk Hero's Graves where you start, actually, with the whole poisoned and dragon theme going on. They also have such a room with a lot of corpses from hanging from above on tree roots. And yeah, we have a lot of like blood and roots theme going on here. It was the Lane Catacombs had the same stuff, right? Lots of blood exaltation at a boss room with tree roots. The same thing here with Morg. I have a question, like talons. The term or the word talons, does it refer to bird talons? Or is it like more? Oh no, it could also be claw, right? Yeah, like claws. It's not specific talents of a bird, right? But usually the talents refer to something of a bird. In most of them the cases, I mean. Almost always used for birds. So see, that's a nice information. Maybe I have to check the Japanese version of this one just to be sure. Dragons though too. Hmm. Oh, and if you remember, you remember what I said about the Earth Tree's favor talisman, right? That Radigan blessed the Godfrey and his forces with a blessing that was strengthening but also poisoning in the end. In this place, themed around roots and bloods, we also got the Earth Tree's favorite +1 talisman. I think it all connects to the whole theme and story that Radigan poisoned them, and afterwards they were buried underground to the tree roots. I think this is how it happens, because they were poisoned, weakened in a way, then burned down by Radigan and his dragon-like powers, but finally they were afterwards they were buried underground to the tree roots. What do you mean by Fia's Baldachin blessing? What's up with Fia's Baldachin blessing? Detrimental. Oh no, not like that, I would say. Oh, we can't continue anyway because of Margot. And I think this is also the reason why we find all those nomads right behind this, because the nomads are actually paralleling what happened to the Tarnished, because these guys that were buried to the tree roots, some of them are probably the Tarnished. And the nomads are just paralleling this because they were buried underground. It's part of the huge parallel between chaos and order, though. At one point in the future, I will make a video about that. Since when do we have furniture like this here? This furniture, though, this is crucial. Because this one might be linked to the Glow My Queen. The same goes for the carpet though. The Turmerica and the woman in the black hood. The carpet and this furniture here over here is linked to the woman in the black hood. Okay, guys, I think we're done. Next step will be probably the urge tree. On fortified mana. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I wish you all a good evening. Sleep well, etc. Bye bye. Bye, Morg and Andrew and the others.